How's it going, folks? This is Wayne back with another technique lesson today. I've used a little technique called palm muting in a lot of my lessons just lately. It adds a lot of dynamic to the songs, and I tried to explain in a lot of the lessons, but I've had a lot of sort of messages and requests if you could go into it a little bit more detail. So today we're going to look at palm muting. I think it's a very useful technique. Adds a lot of dynamic into the song, you know, little breakdown parts like middle eights or pre-choruses. I think it works really well. And not just on power chords, I think, you know, you can do it on open chords as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, what is palm muting? So it's sort of the difference between playing a chord and letting all the strings sort of ring out. You get that lovely tone. So if I was to palm mute that, it just gives it that, it sort of dampens the chord down, gives it that sort of dull effect, but works very well, like, as I said in the intro, you know, adding this in certain parts of a song if you're playing as a solo acoustic artist. Obviously works really well on electric guitar with a bit of overdrive on, works brilliantly. But on an acoustic, I tend to use this technique a lot, and I've used it a lot in a lot of my sort of recent videos as well, and sort of little breakdown parts. So if we just start on an E minor chord, just to get the technique down first. So the sound that you want is a... Okay, so the way to do palm muting, so that part of your palm, sort of the side of your hand, has to be lightly pressing on the strings. So we don't press too hard, we're not pressing down on the strings, we're just lightly pressing that on the strings, okay? Now the position I do it in, I sort of do it just behind the sound hole. So then I can always roll my hand back on the bridge when we're playing sort of the strings, you know, open, or letting the strings ring out, and then I can sort of roll my hand back down again. So that's a technique. So you can see that when I roll my hand forward, we can go into that palm muting. So we should be aiming at getting this sound. So if you press down too hard, it's going to completely kill the sound, or if you're not pressing quite hard enough, it's not going to come through. So there is a bit of a threshold, and you do have to practice it a bit. So we're aiming at getting... So we're aiming at getting that sort of sound. Okay, works really well on sort of power chords as well. So when we're doing that technique, we mainly do it with downstrokes, okay? So on power chords, obviously you play those a lot with downstrokes anyway. So if I show you the little exercise that I did in the intro, this is something maybe you could practice. And it's sort of mixing, playing the strings without palm muting and then going into palm muting. So you sort of changing between the two. So the power chords that I'm using a 3-fingered power chord. If you struggle doing that, you could do the 2-fingered power chord. But I'm on the... First finger is on the 5th fret on the low E string, third finger is on the 7 on the A, little pinky is on 7 on the D. Okay, and I'm just going to go down to the 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, 3rd fret, and back to the 5th fret again. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to play the chord open first, and then we're going to go into the muting. So let it ring out. Same on the 3rd fret, 2nd fret, but when we go to the 1st fret, we're going to, and then to the 3rd fret, we're going to keep those muted. So again. So I hope that is helpful to you. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Hope that was helpful, and thanks everyone who's requested that. If there is any techniques, I have done a few technique lessons in the past with percussive strumming and things like that. But if there is anything you'd like me to go into more detail, you know, I'm more than willing to do it. So obviously you could either comment in the post below, or if you want to find me a personal message over, so on the social media platforms that I'm on Wayne R Guitar on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now also TikTok, as I'm trying to get down with the kids, as they always say. But if you want to, on those platforms, you can find me a personal message over requesting a technique, whether it be strumming, bar chords. I have talked about those in the past, or anything you'd like me to go into more detail. I'm more than willing to do it. So, like I say, hope this is really helpful. So thanks for the continued support. Thanks everyone who's subscribed and continues to do so. Further way you could help me out is hitting the little notification bell that's somewhere down there. Also, please give me a like on those social media platforms I suggested. And I always say word of mouth is a powerful thing. So if you dig what I do, please like and share my videos. Tell your friends, tell your work colleagues. Please point them in my direction. Really appreciate that. So that just leaves me to say have a great morning, day, night, whenever it is you're watching, and I'll catch you all for a lesson very soon. Take care.